Alrighty, today is October 22nd, 2025, and this is my session. Quite a few trades here. Ignore the sim trades down here, those were just drills afterwards, which I will touch on because I did really good on drills today, but you can see here most of my actual trades were red. Let's go over to the overview, see what we're looking at. So yeah, pretty steady downtrend. You can see there, especially this row of losers. I feel really bad about this session, and I have this feeling in my stomach that today was horrible. And P&L wise it was. But I'm really hoping that from this review, I can possibly shed some light on it and maybe come away with it for a better appreciation for how I did today. That's the hope, anyways. So, um, let's take a look at my plan first. This is my daily plan. I pasted in yesterday's report card summary. Um, Basically, just pay attention to context, and we might come to see that I didn't do a good enough job of that. But my long-term goal is still only to trade an idea twice, so never more than that. And let's hope I did that. I'm honestly not sure. I may have broken that rule, but I don't know. Read context before entries and take breaks if my heart rate spikes above 120 beats per minute. I definitely know I didn't do that. My heart rate was, I'm pretty sure it was all over the place. I wasn't checking it, which again, I should be checking it between trades. Expect tight, choppy trading as market seems indecisive. Boy, did that turn out to be true. It might be a different story now because I only trade the first hour, and it looked like as I was shutting down my platform that we were breaking these lows. So today might end up being a super volatile wide day, but at least for the first hour, it was super choppy, no volume. Let's look at the stats. I had 16 trades with a win rate of 31%, which is just brutal. I think we're going to come to see that I had a lot of psychology issues today. 5 wins, 11 losses. Average win was 4 ticks. Average loss was 4.7 ticks. So even my losers were bigger than my winners. And I had a negative win rate. So today was just a double negative across the board, really. Yeah, no real information we can gain from that. This might end up being a two-parter because I have so many trades to look at, but let's start with trade number 1, which was a 6-tick loss to the short side. I will replay the narration, although I was trading with Fat Cat today, which sometimes influences how much I narrate. I don't want to jam those lows. I'm going to try the short, 66.50.
I don't think there's enough
Lit.
factors here.
Yeah, so he says not enough factors. I'm going to, as rude as this sounds, I'm going to try to ignore his analysis and just focus on my own analysis. What I can see right away is that I'm late to this setup. At least from the context of this DOM that I'm looking at, this unfortunately this review is going to be missing a lot of higher time frame context because I was only recording my DOM today. Let's get rid of my heart rate monitor so we can see what it was at the time. So 123 beats per minute, pretty high for my first trade. What I would have liked to do is I would have liked to get short on this first pullback above the moving average. So you can see we're downtrending, we're making new lows, and then we shoot up really fast on decent volume with a wide ATR candle. This would have been a good short, especially if I waited. So boom, we shoot up, wait about 10 more seconds until it starts showing signs of reclaiming. So we come down, we reclaim this big candle. We get a really weak bounce right here. And there is selling volume. We can see that there's pretty decent selling volume. And then we just puke down into that reclaim, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ticks. So that would have been good for a 6 tick profit had I gone short somewhere in this little area, which isn't difficult. It is doable. And the EV would have been really good on this. I think when price is downtrending and it pukes above the moving average so quick, that is usually very favorable. You're not guaranteed new lows. Notice how we don't make a new low, but we are pretty high win rate, pretty high expected rate of taking back that reclaim. So this back here would have been a really good short. I think getting in here is too late, especially since we defended the lows again. We are probably heading higher. So let's tag this. I'm going to tag it as entry late. Exit good. I did get out for a smaller loss than my stop. In my favor, I think I had trend favor. I had one small order block, but that's about it, guys. I don't really think I had a whole lot. I had a lot of order blocks against me, so that cancels out. A tape. Let's look at how strong the tape was at the time of entry.
Again.
Just mute here. Where's my entry? So right around here. 30 comes in, 30 comes out.
Not
Yeah,
factors here.
if anything, it's strong against me, so I'm not gonna tag that. Actually, I might even tag it as tape against. This was a fairly conservative scalp. I'm gonna give it a C grade setup. It's not good in a risk off environment. I don't think there's necessarily any mistakes here yet. Maybe I'll tag missing context because I do think that the setup is over at this point. This would kind of be classified as a mean reversion, but honestly, because the setup quality is so poor, let me actually move these over. This is gonna bug me. All right, I just wanted to switch some tags over there real quick. This is a C setup. I don't really have a lot else going on. So it might not even be a C setup. It might be an F, in which case I don't tag it. Which means this, unfortunately, might be a red star trade. I did have convergences working for me on the higher time frame, but I just don't have that screenshot, unfortunately, which is kind of annoying. I actually do have the overnight low that I'm trading into, so maybe I'll tag that. I'll tag convergence just because I was using convergence there. I had slip favor. I thought I was clear here, but actually it's going to be in between. I did have good pulse checks. I took 2 green pulse checks before this. My heart rate was very high, and I should have taken a break after this. Maybe calm, maybe content, and maybe patient. This is pretty quick after the open. This will be a yellow star. Trade number 2 is a 6-tick profit to the long side. Let's rewind the recording a little bit. It looks like I trailed this for quite a while, so let's listen. Guys. I'm gonna try long. 69.50.
Mhm.
Play a tick. Build 69.75.
Doing a lot of fake outs.
I'm gonna offer 71.25. Try to work an exit there. Got it. I think that was a 6-tick win. All right, so I really like this trade. I don't quite have momentum advantage, but I'll tell you what I do have. Oh, get rid of this. Goodbye. Print screen. I just want to screenshot this super quick. Strength. Resistance. Acceptance. Slip entry. Okay. Reclaim breakout. Cool. This will be an A+. Let's tag this super quick. I had big order blocks, small order blocks in my favor. I had a strong tape. I had a volume gap above us. I had reclaim assist. I had trend favor, at least temporarily. Actually, no, I won't tag that because it looks like this is actually a pretty fresh trend. This is a momentum continuation. Oh, and I also had a support resistance area because that is resistance from accepting above it. Against me, I only had small order blocks, it looks like. Excellent, excellent trade. Wow. Entry good, exit good. Let's just see if I could have held it for shits and giggles. Yes, I definitely could have held that. So maybe I'll switch that to exit early. This is kind of an aggressive scalp. So I'm technically against my bias. It should have been a hold, though. Like, this could easily be a hold trade. Slip favor, clear, maybe calm, unfortunately, just because my heart rate did spike there. gonna say maybe content and yes, patience. I think I was pretty patient waiting for this guy to set up. I will green star that, obviously. Trade number 3 is an 8-tick loss to the long side. Field 73. Took it off there.
It's just not. I don't know what you're trading. I don't know what you're trading, man. There's just not enough support.
Trading into that reclaim. Big fat fucking reclaim on the 32nd.
Okay.
But you could hear Fat Cat say there, he doesn't see what I'm trading into, which is valid. Let's see what I can analyze about this. I think when a pattern I'm starting to notice is that if we put in too many ATR candles within a specific range, that's kind of signaling slip range. So look how we put in this ATR candle here. And then we pull back and put in we put in a red, a green, a red, a green, another green, another green. It's slip. There's definite slip going on in the middle of there. So for me to get in where I got in is definitely slip against. Had I waited for slip favor, like if I got in down here, at this point we're fighting the moving average too much, and we've rejected the highs twice. So we came up off fresh lows, we printed a high, and we rejected the high twice. The chances of us bouncing here, especially after we just rejected for a second time, are pretty slim. And I don't remember exactly, so this isn't a whole lot of hindsight, but I'm pretty sure had I gone long here, even with slip favor, it would have gone against me. And yeah, it looks like it would have. So let's tag that appropriately. This was slip against. I technically had ATR candle continuation with momentum, but I got caught on a mean reversion, and I'm going to tag this as a C setup. And I'll write a note down here. To slip heavy for continuation. So if I'm taking a continuation trade, I need to be super careful of slip. And this is very slip heavy. In between. I was actually pretty calm here. Maybe content and maybe patient. On my front side, I technically had trend. I would say this was a trend at this point. It looked like compression, but it wasn't great compression. I should mark it anyways, just so I have the data. I'm going to tag chasing. I think I am kind of chasing on this. My exit was late, and my exit was late, unfortunately. Against me, I had some decent order blocks. I had reclaim in front of me and behind me at this point, so they kind of cancel out. And that's about it. My approach was aggressive scalping. This will be a yellow star. Oh, should it be red star though? I at least had a setup. So let's yellow star it just because I at least had an idea and I at least had a setup. Continuation. So it looks like more of the same here. I'm really attacking longs. And while so this is trade number 4. It's a 4-tick profit to the long side. I'm not crazy about it. I think we're still just too slip heavy. And granted, we are accepting above that slip. But I still think it's just too choppy to be trading continuations like this. Or if they're gonna rotate it. picked up a point there. I mean, I guess it's not. I guess it's not horrible. Let me draw what I'm thinking here. So I think what I'm trying to get at is that there's a range here. Range. And what I've essentially done is I've traded the retest of it. Vortex long. I'll also write down here slip risk because it could want to slip right back in here. I did have decent tape strength though, so I'll mark that on the front side. I had strong tape, kind of in price exploration, so I won't tag volume gap. Reclaim on both sides. Technically, I had a support resistance area because we're breaking out. And I mean, we're pretty clearly uptrending into this favor at this point. But I do have range against because technically this should still be a range. It could have top ticked against me, so I'm going to tag that because at the point of entry, this was a top tick. We were top ticking, or actually, maybe I'll tag V flush against, and it's some pretty big order blocks against me too. So not a amazing trade by any means. I'm going to tag this entry late, exit good. This is, again, an aggressive scalp in a risk-off environment, which just means I'm against my bias, technically. I did not have ATR candles. This was a momentum trade. C grade setup. I'm not crazy about this one by any means. Slip against. I am clear here relatively. At least I feel clear. I'm pretty calm. I'm not really content at this point. I think this is pretty aggressive. My patience is also yellow. I think I'm maybe content, maybe patient. And I'll yellow star this trade. All right. As I was saying before, this is trade number 5, 4-tick loss to the long side. Let's rewind it and listen to the narration. Start wanting to reclaim. I'm gonna try the long. Oh man, that's frustrating. I do not want to see it come down again. Us there. So this actually would have been an excellent short setup. And I will take a screenshot as to why. We get 2 moves down, 2 consecutive ATR candles, and we're trading below the 50 MA. We get 1 relief candle here. Boom, that guy right there. Short relief candle or continuation. So if I entered short up here, 73.50, it would easily been enough for me to take back the reclaim down to 72, which would have been an easy 6 ticks. And given the fact that we have reclaim below us, I could have held more for potentially 2-3 points, something like that. Especially since I don't make a note of this in white. These are, what's the word I'm looking for? Holding. These are holding. Boom and boom. So these ATR candles are holding on the way down, which is a pretty good indication to short, especially since we are trending below the 50 MA. Yeah, I think that sums it up pretty good. So let's paste that in there. I also want to paste that into my Discord channel that I have for tracking these setups. Kind of like my playbook. All right. But the way I traded this, the way I went long there is just not particularly good. I had reclaim against me. I don't think I had much reclaim in my favor, honestly. I mean, I had some, but it's just not really enough. I did have some good order blocks to trade into. Not a whole lot behind me. What did the tape look like at the time of entry? The time of entry, tape was kind of moderate. It wasn't crazy strong. I think this was an impulsive trade. I think I'm trying to trade these reclaims like I used to. So I'm going to tag this as impulsive. It's also going to be against my bias because it was pretty aggressive. Aggressive scalp. And missing context. I'm just not really paying attention. Slip against. I think I am confused here. Maybe calm. Maybe content. Maybe patient. This is going to be a red star just because the setup quality is not good. This was an unnecessary loss. Would have been a great short trade. I'll write a note of that. Great short trade. Trade number 6 is a 3-tick loss to the long side. This might be my last trade just because I have to go soon. This will be a 2-parter. I'm gonna try the long here for the. So it looks like it works for 6 ticks. I think this could be a pretty nice bounce spot.
You would think, but man, they're just fucking abusing everything.
Yeah, and Fat Cat's right when he says that. I try to get 2 points out of it. Oh man, and it touches it. It touches it multiple times. This could have been a 2-point winner, but that doesn't really matter because I held too long. Even if it could have been a 2-point winner, and even if I had the order there, I'm holding too long. I should be moving my stop up. I should be taking it off for the 6 ticks that it's given me, and not holding for the 2 points. And then I try trailing it. My trail gets hit, and then eventually it stops me out. And after it stops me out, it would have ran back up. So just sloppy execution on both ends here. So held too long. Entry was actually pretty good. This was a conservative trade, but I'm holding them, and I'm going to tag greed as one of the mistakes. And failure to bankroll. I am red on the day right now. I should be bankrolling. Let's go back to where the entry was. Is that the entry? No, that's... Where are we here? Okay. Slip mid. We do have reclaim above us and not a whole lot below us, so I will tag that as such. We had a support resistance area. We had a convergence area working for us. This was technically mean reversion territory. Where exactly was the entry? Entry was back here, so I did not have ATR candles working for me. Against me is the trend. I'm going long on a downtrend right now. I think that's it. I had some big order blocks in my favor and some small ones. I think that's it. Yeah, so this could have been a really good setup. I'm going to tag it as B setup because on paper, it's really good. I just executed it poorly. I was clear, and it looks like I was pretty calm at the time of entry. My heart rate is really good, but then it spikes up as I'm trying to get out of it. So I was calm at the point of entry. I'm going to say no, I am discontent. So I am not content with my P&L at this point because I was holding for so long, and maybe patient. This will be a yellow star. Trade number 7 is a 6-tick loss to the long side. Yeah, and I think price is just too choppy here for me to be. The nice thing about these ATR candles is it highlights slip. It highlights when we're slip ranging, and clearly at this point, we are slip ranging. This was a try to as well. So try to slip against. My read is now in between. I'm not nearly as clear as I was before. Maybe calm, maybe content, maybe patient. Actually, I'm going to put, again, discontent because I'm not content waiting for the next setup. I'm trading this one again. This is an aggressive scalp. I have order blocks. I have reclaim. No support resistance area this time, though. I actually don't know why I tagged that in the last one. I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm still against the trend. I'm going to red star this one. This is an unnecessary loss. I should not be attempting this one again. because the EV has changed so much. I'm gonna put revenge trading. I'm trying to get revenge for that last loss I just took. I'm against my bias and failing to bankroll. Yeah. And I'm fixated on an idea. Let's put that on there too. Lots of mistakes with this one. And that's pretty much it. I will be back for part 2. All right, so trade number 8 is a 5-tick loss to the short side. Let's rewind it a bit here and watch the replay and listen to the narration. Good pivoting. I'm going to try the short for the mean reversion down and the pivot off the 2-factor. So I don't like this trade already. It does go in my favor a bit, about a point, but I fail to take it off, unfortunately. Oh, it even goes in my favor more here. There's 5 ticks profit. Yeah, it goes 5 ticks in my favor, and I don't take it off, which is frustrating. This actually would have been a better long setup. So this was just a convergence setup. I'm gonna red star this one. I do not like it. We have big order blocks and small order blocks against us. We also have some in our favor, but they're old, so I'm not gonna tag them actually. Tape is strong against us. We do have reclaim in our favor, but that's about it. This was an aggressive scalp in a risk-off environment, which means I was against my bias. I was slip against, confused, maybe calm. My heart rate wasn't horrible here. Maybe content, and maybe patient. I think in the next couple trades, we're going to see that contentment slip. I am no longer content after the next couple trades here. All right. Trade number 9 is a 5-tick loss to the short side. Let's rewind and listen.
The theme has been fuck that. The theme has been puke 'em.
Yeah.
Which is odd.
So the setup here isn't horrible, but the execution's bad. So no, I am not content with this one. And may be patient. My calmness is medium because my heart rate's decent at this point, but that entry was just so bad. This will also be a red star. So I'll take the executions off that. All right. Trade number 10 is a 6-tick loss to the long side. Let's play the narration. Let's see what they do. I'm going to try it. 72.75 long, a little bit of slip advantage. To that 5. So I can see what I was doing there, but it's still not a great setup. This is going to be red star. I did have slip favor, but I'm still confused. I don't have a good read on the market. I'm not calm. I'm not content, and I'm not patient either. I'm going to tag this no factors of support because I really can't see anything here. This was an aggressive scalp against bias, impulsive, and overtrading. That'll be a red star. Next one, trade 11, 5-tick profit to the long side. Let's watch the narration. So it looks like I'm trailing here. I get the trail fill, and it does bounce in my favor quite a bit, but still not a great trade. This might actually be a red star because I'm maybe calm, but I'm not content. I'm not patient here. Factors of support, I did have some decent reclaim. I was against the range. It's also slip against. And that's pretty much it. I did not have much else. So I'm going to tag this no factors of support. Even if I had 1 factor of support, that's still, I count that as 0. Aggressive scalp, risk off, against bias, impulsive overtrading. And I'm confused. That'll be a red star. Trade number 12 is a 4-tick loss to the long side. Let's watch it with narration. So I get stopped out there. I could see the reason for me getting in here, but it's too close to the moving average. We're just hugging it. So this was supposed to be a momentum continuation, but I am too close to the moving average. This one was a little bit more conservative. Setup grade that was like a C. It's just not good. What did the tape look like at the time of entry? This tape's pretty strong. I'm just late. Like the original setup is gone. Yeah, so maybe I had strong tape working for me, but there's not a whole lot else, so that'll be a no factor support. Exit late, or entry late, exit late. Still overtrading, still impulsive. This will be a yellow star, because at least there's some semblance of a setup there. Slip mid. I'm still confused. I'm maybe calm. I'm not content. And not patient either. All right. Trade 13 is a 4-tick profit to the long side. So I've got a bit of a range favor working there for me. Exited way too early. Could have got a lot more out of that. Exit early. Entry's decent on this one. Conservative scalp, slip favor, range favor. Small order blocks in my favor. Tape was pretty strong. I think that's it. Against me, not much against me, which is good. This was conservative. This was a mean revert trade. I'll call it a B setup. It's I'm gonna call it a C. It's not that great. I'm pretty clear on this one. Maybe calm, maybe content, and maybe patient. I'm gonna take this one fear, and I'm gonna yellow star it. I think I jumped out of this trade way too early. All right. Trade number 14 is a 1 tick profit to the long side. Let's watch the narration. It's still just hugging the MA so closely. It needs to be looser. Execution setup. Add a tag for that. Either way, take profit. Slip none. It's gonna have to be no factory support because I just don't see anything here for a setup. Conservative scalp risk off. Over trading. Confused. Maybe calm. Not content and not patient. And this will be a red star. There's just nothing. There's not even things against me. It's just nothing. There's no good price action here. I'm just trading slop. Trade number 15 is a 1 tick loss to the long side. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. And I can see why
they hit down
here. But again, we're just in a range. So range against, slip against. I had some order blocks on my backside. I did have a continuation candle. But I'm afraid this is also going to be a red star. No factors of support. Aggressive scalp. Risk off. Against bias. Impulsive over trading. Confused. I'm not calm. Not content. And not patient. Trade 16. Last trade. 4 tick loss to the short side. The fact that it's accepting that, and again, I'm just against the range. We're clearly ranging here. It was a good attempt, maybe. Like I had a couple ticks profit, but again, there's no setup. The price action is so bad. So no factor support, range against, slip against, confused, not calm, not content, not patient. Aggressive scalp, risk off, against bias. Over trading, failure to bankroll, because I did have some ticks and profit there. And fear, or maybe I'll take greed, because I'm getting a little greedy there. Yeah, this is also going to be a red star, unfortunately. So let's go into the daily report card. My goal for today was to never trade a single idea more than twice. And I did that. While my trading was abysmal, I never attacked an idea more than twice, which saved this from being like a liquidation kind of day. I wish I cut the bleeding a lot sooner. I'm gonna continue to work on this 2 idea rule, but I think my next goal will be to stop trading after 3 consecutive losses. I think anytime I have 3 consecutive losses, it's usually right before I take more losses. I think it's very, very rare that I take 3 consecutive losses and then come back from it. I think that's usually just an indication that the day is not good. I don't have a good read on the price action. I'm probably not as focused as I should be, and I should stop for the day. And had I done that today, I would have stopped at trade 7, and I would have been red on the day, but not by much. Maybe like 5 ticks, something like that. But instead, I went on to trade way more and drew down a lot. So I did follow that one goal, and I only have one long-term goal at a time. And I want to grade myself on how well I did with just that specific goal. So with that in mind, I'd probably give myself a B grade today. Not great. There's a lot of room for improvement. There were a lot of things I could have done better. A lot of those trades were placed without the proper context and without the proper focus. And they were outside of my system, my defined system. So just kind of sloppy all around. But I want to focus on my goal, and I did that. I worked towards my goal. I accomplished that today. I didn't attack an idea more than twice, despite my over trading. So I think I'm pretty happy with a B grade for today. The easiest trade. Oof, that's gonna be tough. There's not a lot of easy trades today. It would probably be trade number 2. It might not be though, because I didn't really have. On paper, trade number 2 is the easiest trade because it didn't draw down on me at all. I had 0 MAE on that trade, which I do think is impressive in a certain way. But I just didn't have as many factors of support as I would have liked. Yeah, I'll keep that answer. Trade number 2 is my only green star trade of the day. Things I did good. I followed my goal. That's number 1. I stuck to my goal. I did not trade an idea more than twice. I also didn't hit liquidation threshold, which is such a low bar. I mean, nobody should ever hit liquidation threshold, but I do think it's a sign of improvement that I'm having these really bad days, but I'm the one making the decision to walk away. I'm not getting locked out of my account. Which, every trader has experienced that before. Every trader knows what it feels like to get locked out of the account, and it sucks. You feel like shit after. But being able to walk away from something like that, I think is a huge sign of improvement. And I'm proud of it, honestly. I also did a pretty decent job of managing my losses. It looks like my biggest loss was 8 ticks, which is a big one. But at no point did I ever set a stop loss and then just wait for the stop to hit. I was actively managing trades and trying to get out of them, which again, sign of improvement. Can't complain. Things I need to improve on. Where do I even start? For one, I'm not going to focus too much on this goal, but I would like to stop trading after 3 consecutive losses. I think it's a good rule of thumb. 3 losses, you're out, type of thing. And it's a simple rule. It's easy. You took 3 losses in a row. There's no, oh, was that the 3rd loss in a row? Like that's never a thought in someone's mind. It's you absolutely know when you've taken 3 losses in a row. That's probably a pretty good spot to stop trading, to call it quits for the day. While I didn't attack the same idea, I was still attacking the market. So one of my biggest problems in trading, and the reason why I have that long-term goal, is a really good idea will set up and I will just fall in love with it and I'll aggressively attack that idea over and over and over again. What happened today was that there wasn't any idea. There wasn't any long-term or high time frame setup. There wasn't any edge. There wasn't any good price action. There wasn't any good movement. But here I am with 16 executions, So I need to do a better job of identifying when it's not the ideal market. And to be fair, I kind of did that in my plan. My daily plan before I started trading said, beware of choppiness. And that's exactly what we got. Just because I say it, I should do something about it. I should put those words into practice. And I didn't do that. So if I was to improve on something, it would definitely be that. What else do I need to improve on? Narrating. I did not narrate nearly as much as I should today. I might have to talk to Fat Cat about that and just see if we can set up separate rooms so that I can sit in private and narrate to myself, because I do a really good job of doing that when I'm trading by myself. But when I'm trading with him, it's so easy for me to listen to what he's saying and to not talk myself, which I think can be a problem. So that's something I'm going to have to work on too. And I think that's about it. In summary, today was obviously a rough session, but it's not nearly as rough as it could have been. I think a universe definitely exists where today was way worse, and that I got liquidated, and that I got locked out of the account and stuff like that. And as bad as today was, I am really proud of the fact that that didn't happen and that I chose to walk away from the desk. Granted, I wish I did it a lot sooner. So you can see here, 1 loss, 2 loss, 3 loss. So had I stopped trading there, I would have been down about $200 on the day. Whereas I ended almost down 500 on the day. So I could have cut my losses in half had I walked away after 3 consecutive losses, which is a lesson I hope to carry forward. And yeah, days like today are important. It's good to learn from them. I'm glad it happened. I'm excited to apply some of these lessons moving forward. And yeah, on to the next one, I suppose.